Hi, everyone, and we're really excited today to start a new feature on Film Yap, something I've been longing to do for a long time. We call it Monday Morning Movie Critic, and as you might guess, just sort of like that, those Monday morning quarterbacks, it's an opportunity for us to engage with real movie fans, people out there buying the tickets, going to the theaters or streaming or wherever they're watching, and say, what did you think? Do you think we got it wrong in our reviews and commentaries? And so it's just really exciting because we like to have this sort of feedback and interaction with people and not just sort of us be talking at you all the time. And so I'm very pleased to introduce Jeff Raissle, who's going to be our first victim. And Jeff, if you want to, first of all, thank you very much for being the very first Monday Morning Movie Critic. Why don't we start off, just everyone, tell everyone a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, sure. Jeff Raissle. I teach high school English at Crispus Attucks, downtown IPS, and live in Carmel. And I'm an avid moviegoer. I like to support the movies. I enjoy the big screen experience, and every chance I get, I encourage people to get out and enjoy a movie.
Well, great. Thanks for joining us. And of course, we also have with us Adam Aasen, film yapper and host of the Grade A Movies podcast and website. Adam, thanks for being here.
Good to see you, Chris.
All right, well, let's start off. We're going to talk about Old, which is the big movie opening this week, which, boy, the critics in general, and our critic in particular, Andy Carr, wrote the main review for Film Yap, and boy, did he tear it up. So what did you think? What does the Monday Morning Movie Critic have to say to the critics on Monday morning about what you really thought?
I understand the hate, but I will say this: with M. Night Shyamalan, you have to go in expecting you might hate it. And if you're pleasantly surprised at the end, then you can say, all right, I'll buy into this. That's how it was with this movie. There are some bad parts, but if you can get through some of those bad parts and you can get to it's like the gymnast who has a bad routine, but they stick the ending and you kind of forget about some of the mistakes along the way. Shyamalan's like that. You know, sometimes he'll have the most incredible routine and then he lands and he falls on his butt. In this case, he maybe fell off the parallel bars a couple times, but then he stuck the landing. So in this case, I kind of feel like he almost stuck the landing. And so I'm willing to forgive some of the mistakes along the way.
Okay. That's good to hear. I think I'm closer to you in that certainly with Adam and Andy. I thought it was okay. Not his best movie, not his worst movie. The parts that were scary, I thought worked. I thought they were generally scary. And yeah, there was probably 3, 4, 5 genuinely goofy moments where I laughed, the audience laughed. Was it at the screening that you saw? Was there some out loud laughter at inappropriate times?
Yes, and I don't think that was the intent. So that was what was so funny about it. And some of it came off as quite creepy. So I'm not sure who he screened this for besides himself. Because I know he likes himself a lot, obviously. So I think he just thought he was a genius, and there's no way he didn't get some feedback on a couple of those things. But like I said, I kind of put that in the back of my mind and continued to enjoy the movie, watch it unravel, and I was happy with the end. So I would say, and I give it some plus for originality. I mean, it's all sequels and remakes these days, and you get a new IP out there, and I'll support it.
Yeah, that's good to hear. Interesting way to say about Shyamalan is, he was so successful so early in his career, and I think maybe that kind of went to his head. I compare him to Quentin Tarantino, who I think the same way quickly reached a point in his career where it seemed like he was just making movies for himself, and what the audience thought of him was kind of an afterthought.
But he's at least the critics' darling, so feels like he can get away with it a little bit more.
He's got Oscars.
Versus, Shyamalan's been destroyed for several
and rightly
years.
So sometimes The Happening.
Absolutely, no question. There's no question. he deserves it. So I think some of his arrogance is unearned, whereas I think Tarantino can kind of back it up.
Yeah. So Adam, what's your take on what Jeff? I believe Jeff is your friend. So, are you guys gonna have conflict over this? Since I know you hated Old.
Well, I wasn't surprised by my opinion. Put it this way, I put it middle of the pack M. Night Shyamalan, but which that's not really a compliment for me to say it's middle of the pack, because his bottom of the barrel, like The Happening, After Earth, like those are pretty low for what movies can be. I think what he's done, which is smart, is if you remember After Earth, it combined the arrogance of M. Night Shyamalan with the arrogance of Will Smith and his son into a massive big budget failure that didn't even recoup its money. After that, I think M. Night Shyamalan did the smart thing and went smaller, low budget movies that kind of surprised audiences and exceeded expectations. He did that with The Visit. He did that with Split, which I thought was a lot of fun. But then I think after Split success, he kind of got full of himself again.
Mm-hmm.
And with Glass, he tried to go big again. That was a flop. This one, I don't know where to put that. It's trying to be smaller and grounded, and I appreciate that. There are parts I liked, but the parts I didn't like of the movie, I'm going to spoil one thing. The unexpected child pregnancy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's what I mean. Where did he not? How did that not get past preview audiences?
Yeah, the part, because again, slightly spoiler warning here if you haven't seen the film, but we do call this Monday Morning Movie Critic. So it kind of is the idea for people who have seen it and want to hear people rapping about the movie. Is those characters, everyone knows people in the movie age rapidly. That's the whole premise. And the children are the ones that they first notice. And those two characters that have the baby are supposed to be 6 years old before they start aging. And man, is that nth level creepy that these kids, first of all, would figure out how to do that and then have the baby. And yeah, that part, Jeff, tell me. So you were telling me about laugh out loud moments in the movie that were inappropriate. Can you think of some others that really stood out to you?
Just some things. The crazy doctor, the way he would just attacks. He was weird. A couple things like that. The epileptic, out of the blue. Just some weird things. Let's see.
You know what I thought was strange was, I thought it was strange that every time the characters immediately figured out the rules of this story and would just say it out loud, they'd be like, wait a second, what I think is happening is people are aging, and we're aging at specifically this rate per hour.
Yeah. And
when the mom first realizes her kids have aged, she sees them and they're about 7 years older, and she thinks they had an allergic reaction.
Yeah. It's like an allergic reaction.
I'm like, what kind of allergic reaction is that? I think you might be a little bit more concerned. She's like, I think we need to take her to the doctor. I'm like, you think?
Yeah.
I remember that when I was a waiter, people would say, hey, does this have gluten in it? Because if it does, my kid will age 7 years.
I know that another one that was a big, and again, a bit of a spoiler warning, is the mother who's kind of like an Instagram model type. What happens to her with her calcium deficiency? I mean, the thing was, that scene, the way it plays out in that where it is in the movie, could have been super, super scary. Mm-hmm. But it ends up, I think, just being almost totally comedic. Yeah. Oh, the other one, again, bit of a spoiler warning, is we are introduced to a character who's a rapper whose name is Mid-Size Sedan, which I can imagine like some young dude from the city who really wants to be out there and spit some raps and make a name for himself, and is going to call himself Mid-Size Sedan. I don't know where that came from. The other question I had with him was, that character was supposed to have been there from the night before, and yet So if he, using that calculation of you age so much per hour, how was it that he wasn't already old by the next day when the new group arrived?
Didn't they make an off-color joke about how like black don't crack?
Yeah, they threw that in there, but still, if he was like say 25 or 30 to start, using
He should be in his
their
70s.
calculation, he should have been at least in his 50s. By the idea was maybe they got there like 11 o'clock in
Maybe
the
they're
morning.
late. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, Jeff, do you have anything else to say about Old other than
Well, we've ripped it apart, but can we at least give me some props on the ending, because he did sort of stick the ending.
Yeah, you like to see some other. I know Adam and some others didn't like the ending because it was too explainy, but you liked it the way.
I bought it.
Yeah, you can see how those people would act in that way. So yeah, that's
Right.
good. All right. Well, guys, thanks so much for joining us for the very first Monday Morning Movie Critic. It's something that we're really excited to start. We're hopefully to do more of these. I'd love to maybe even we do this almost every Mondays eventually if we can get enough people interested in doing it. And Jeff,
Chris, one thing before we go, I want to ask Jeff. So Jeff's probably the biggest fan of In the Heights, which I really like too. So talk a bit about a movie we did like. But how many times have you seen In the Heights in the theaters? I think I've lost count of how many times you've seen it, Jeff.
16.
What? That's astonishing. It only came out like 3 months ago? You have to go to at least once a week, if not more.
It opened June 11th.
June 11th. Holy gosh. All right, I'm impressed. I thought I was a movie fan. I thought Adam was a movie fan, but someone who's seen one movie 16 times in less than 2 months, that is truly impressive. Scary, but impressive.
It is a good movie, I will say that. But yeah, 16 times.
I've got time. I'm off for 7 weeks. And,
that's right, teacher. So good.
Yeah, I've got that the AMC A list, so I just pay my monthly fee and go as much as I want.
Great. Well, Jeff, thanks so much. Adam, thanks for being with us as well. Everyone else, if you feel like being a Monday Morning Movie Critic, just email us at filmyap@gmail.com and we'll get you in the spotlight. Thanks, everyone.